Good morning, everyone. My name is Lauren Sevier, and I'm here with you today to do the AuthorTube Transparency Tag. This is a tag that Catherine Francis and I came up with in light of recent events and things. I've already done a video on it. I'm not gonna go into all of that again. But basically, I wanted to, if we were gonna talk the talk, I wanted to walk the walk. I wanted to do this tag and come up with this tag with Catherine so that we could hopefully affect some positive change instead of just pointing out issues and then offering no solutions. And I can't control what anyone else does, but I can control what I do. I can, decide to be pro not censorship. That's weird. I don't know why I said it that way. I can be an advocate for not censoring people. I can be an advocate for transparency to our viewers and to be responsible for our viewers. I can do that in my own little corner of the world by being transparent with all of you. I do want to say that I had to refilm this video. I had already filmed it actually the same night that I filmed the ARC T video. And I had to refilm it because a lot of my questions were no longer accurate. And I want to address why they were no longer accurate. Because after my last video was published, I had an outpouring of love and support and subscribers from all of you guys, which I want to thank y'all from the bottom of my heart. I was actually very genuinely touched. And I wanted to recognize all of y'all for that. That was really, really amazing that you supported me being able to give my opinion and to express myself. And I really, really appreciate that. You have no idea how much that actually really meant to me, that you guys supported me and all of that. And even to the people who made comments, who questioned things or maybe don't have the same opinion as me, I want to give a shout out to you guys too, because your opinions are valid, especially if they're opinions that aren't the same as mine, because that helps me, gain perspective. And so I want y'all to know that wherever you stand on all of this stuff, thank you for letting me speak my truth. Thank you for letting me express myself, and for being, just who you are. You guys, I can't even tell you how much I appreciate all of that. So I had to refilm this because it's a transparency tag, and some of my questions were no longer accurate after my last video was published. So I want to be as transparent as possible. All of these are accurate as of the filming of this video. Whether or not it will continue to be my questions be accurate from here on out, I can't speak to, but yeah. So I felt the need to refilm, and I will address a couple of things at the end of this video, and then I will not be talking about anything regarding this tea again. My channel will go back to content that is not geared towards any of this and is geared towards what I originally came to AuthorTube for, which is a spirit of growth and honing your craft and collaboration and positivity in writing. And that is what I want to talk about. So anyway, I'm going to go right into the tag questions because I'm afraid this video might also be long just because there's 20 questions. So I'm going to try and make my answers short and sweet. If y'all want me to expand upon any of my answers for anything, put in the comments below. I'm more than happy to have discussions with anyone regarding any of this, okay? The first question, are you published traditionally or self-published, or is your writing on a public forum like Wattpad? Currently, my writing is not published at all. And is not on a public forum. Right now, I co-wrote a young adult dystopian novel a few years back, and I've talked about that a lot. The co-authorship dissolved, so that project will not be moving forward in the publishing industry at all, because there are legal issues there. So I do have a printed copy of that. That was more for my closure. I wanted the project to be finished and put on my shelf with a cover, with acknowledgments. I wanted to put it to bed properly, but it's not for public consumption. It is a printed copy, not a published copy. So currently, I do not have anything published. However, I hope to be published traditionally sometime in 2020, which when you see my comeback video, which seems very silly that I'm going to be doing after these 2 videos, but that will be coming sometime next week, you'll kind of know more about that. What genre do you write? I write currently in young adult fiction. Again, I wrote a young adult dystopian. My current book that I am working on is a young adult fantasy novel. So I do like different subgenres and exploring different subgenres, but mainly I write young adult fiction. How long have you been writing? I've been writing pretty much my whole life. It was a form of therapy for me, like as a kid, and going through awkward phases and figuring out my place in the world, and a form of artistic expression that I really leaned on a lot in my younger years. So really I've been writing my whole life. I would probably say from the time I was like 10 or 12-ish, really, because anything before that, I think you're still learning how to like string a sentence together, but you know, I digress. How long have you been writing with the goal of publishing or selling your work? Probably about the last 6 or 7 years, most of which again was that first project, which, you know, you live and you learn, and that did not come to fruition or anything. So yeah, so the majority of my time was spent on that first project. But probably the last 6 or 7 years I've been writing like seriously with the intent of publishing or selling a book or self-publishing a book. Do you have a liberal arts degree in writing, or are you working towards one? Neither. So this is a little bit of an interesting story for me. My back and forth with college, I guess. So I graduated, I got a theater scholarship to go to college, a performance-based theater scholarship to go to college, and I double majored with a minor and was working towards that. I had to leave school because of a health issue, and I got incompletes for that whole semester. That was super just not motivating at all. But so I came home and I dealt with that. And then I went back in to sort of a community college because I was living in a different area of Louisiana at that time. And so I was having to work and go to school, and I kind of like, I couldn't figure out exactly what I wanted to get my degree in. So I switched a lot, and, you know, spinning your wheels a lot because you don't really have a point of focus to like work towards, because you're just kind of changing willy-nilly and you don't really know what you want to do with yourself. That kind of happened a lot. And then, you know, I got married to my husband and everything, and really work sort of overtook school. And if I couldn't focus on school 100%, then I didn't want to do that. Just because I wanted to be able to give it my all or nothing. I didn't want to have poor grades because my focus was split between like employees that were calling me out of finals and stuff at a certain point, and my classes. So I did have to leave. Have you taken any writing classes is the next question. Yes, I have taken many writing classes. I have taken so many writing classes, regular English classes, advanced English classes, at a collegiate level, from a 4-year accredited university. I've taken classes on story structure. I've taken classes on creative writing. I've taken classes in the theater aspect whenever I was doing that on playwriting and the art of subtext, which was super fascinating. And so yeah, I've taken a lot of classes in writing at a collegiate level, and I enjoyed all of them very, very much. Very much. And should I go back, we'll continue to take classes and stuff. But because I do plan on finishing one day, it's just not in the cards for us right now. What, if any, technical book do you or have you used to hone your writing skills? So I talk about this in a couple of my previous videos. I have quite a few just like textbooks that are like technical books on writing, how to form an argument, subtext on writing by Stephen King, things like this. You know, creative writing books, story structure books, things like that. Okay, so I have a ton of those, but the one that I utilize the most, the one that I really that I use the most like in my writing and in my editing is the Chicago Manual of Style. I have the latest edition. I can't remember what number it is though. And I also have, let's see if I can get this. Oh, sorry guys. What is that? I also have like a cheat sheet. If I can't find like an exact page or something, like preparing a manuscript, general document layout, blah, da, 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 styling uses, bias-free language, copyright and fair use issues. So this is kind of like a screenshot of a lot of like the main stuff that's like discussed in the Chicago Manual of Style. So if I just, you know, need something real quick, I use this, which is always on my desk. But a lot of times I will actually like pull out the book and reference the book. So that is what I use the most, especially in regards to editing, formatting, all of that, my work. Anyway, I'm gonna move on because like I said, I don't want this video to be too long. If you are published, I am not. How many views or copies have you sold or gotten on your work? So this one really doesn't apply to me. Like I said, my books currently are not for public consumption, so I don't have views. I don't have sales numbers. I hope to have that information in the future, like I have mentioned. But I do have, for any subsequent like questions in this tag, beta reader and editor feedback from my projects. Share your most negative and most positive review or feedback on your work. Speaking of, most negative. So I have one that's kind of funny that I've mentioned in a video before, and then I have one that's like, that like really was heartbreaking. It broke my heart. So the kind of funny one was that a beta reader once told me, Lauren, if your characters were puppies, we would have called PETA on you. And I felt a little like pride, even though that was negative feedback, just because I was like, haha, yes, I put my characters through so much, you know, but it was a negative comment, which I find hilarious. It's still one of my favorite comments to date. And then the actual serious, like negative feedback, probably the most feedback came from one of my editors who's working on my current project. And I think part of this is like how I took it, not necessarily how he said it, but to me it like hit home. And so for me, it was really negative feedback. But I think as a whole, if I was being less emotionally attached to his comments, like probably wouldn't be that big of a deal. Anyway, so this is like my editor, and it was one of his first impressions, and he like gave me some just first impressions before giving me a line by line edit of my book that I'm currently working on. And some of his first impressions, which he had good stuff, but then this was like one of the bad things that he said in helpful context. He was like, so it's a little distracting to readers that there are a ton of parallels to this other prolific work of fantasy. And you should probably look into that, because when does it stop being like paying homage to and start being like too many parallels? And so in my brain, what I heard, instead of, hey, you should fix these like foundational issues so this feels more unique and fresh because your voice is important, like instead of hearing that, I heard, he thinks I plagiarized my book. And so that had me in my feelings. Not gonna lie, for like 2 weeks, until I finally was able to go, okay, I can look at this objectively and like break it down and try to be like disconnected from that feedback emotionally. But that was probably my most negative feedback to date. I'm sure I'll get more negative feedback in the future, because you can't please everybody. Anyway, what system do you use to determine how much to charge for your work? As I'm not currently selling my work, I don't have a system in place. Also, I will say I don't have a large base of knowledge in this area. All I can do is hypothesize what I will try to do should I ever sell my work independently, because I am seeking a traditionally published publishing contract for publishing through the traditional means, like with a traditional publishing company. And if that happens, then I don't think that I'm going to have like a ton of say in that, because they're going to have people to do a market analysis to say how much of an investment they put forward, how much it's valued at, and based on what. And I'm sure they have a mathematical equation to like account for that. And so obviously I would lean on people who that is their job and that's their expertise in that instance. However, let's say I don't receive a traditional publishing contract, and I choose to like go ahead and just like self-publish this book or whatever, or I decide traditional publishing is not for me because we can all change our minds. Then if I am setting the price, the way that I think I would look at it is like the 60-40 rule, meaning like the 60% would be the initial investment of printing and shipping the product to the person, and then a 40% profit margin like on top of that. So let's say it costs me $5.50 for and I can't do math, so these are like rounded generalized numbers. Please don't like hang me on a technicality here. Math is not my forte. But let's say it costs like $5 to print a book and then like $5 to ship a book to somebody. So my initial investment to get you my product is $10. Then I would, and that's like the 60% or whatever, then I would tack on like another $4, as my profit, so that it could reimburse me for the initial investment for like cover art, editing, whatever. And then after I'd sold so many copies, then I would start seeing a profit. So that is the way I think I would think about it if it were me. But again, I can't speak to that because I'm not in that stage of my work yet. I can only hypothesize, and that might change. The numbers might not add up because I'm not good at math. So that is the best I can answer that question. Moving on to the next one. I'm trying really hard to be like, not ramble. Because this isn't scripted either. I'm gonna be known for like unscripted, unedited videos. It's not good. Let's see here. Do you work a day job, or are you able to solely support yourself from your book sales? I've also mentioned this in a few videos. I do have a day job. I travel for work, and I work in the healthcare industry, specifically in cardiology. And that is how I support myself and my family. My husband is also, he's a first responder. He's a firefighter for 2 different departments, one full-time and one part-time. So he also, he has 2 jobs, and I have a job and travel, and that is how we support our family and our lifestyle. Writing for me is not about money at this point in my life. I mean, eventually I would like to support myself by writing so that I could do it full-time because I'm passionate about it. And I want to do something, every day that I'm passionate about. Not that I'm not passionate about helping people in my regular day job, because I do love that. I really do. It feeds a part of me, a different part of me than writing does. So right now I enjoy both. Anyway, how many subscribers do you have on your channel? So this was one of the questions that changed. Before, it was like 29 or 30, like right on that line. And now, because of the outpouring of support of you guys, I have 59 subscribers right now. And so that may not be like a big, huge deal to some people who have like thousands of subscribers. But for me, y'all essentially doubled my viewership overnight. And that's amazing. And just so you know, you guys are rock stars. Yes, I'm still floored by that, by the way. So next question, because I will go on a gush and this will just be an hour-long video. Let's see. Do you market your products to your subscribers? If so, how? I do not. I offer any tips or advice, and normally I try to justify where I get this knowledge from. But I offer it free of charge and in the spirit of like companionship, collaboration, and growth. I'm sure if I have a book published in the future, because I talk about my writing, so I talk about my projects and I talk about my books, I'm sure if somebody wants to support me by purchasing a book of mine, if I'm published in the future, I will like have links and stuff in my videos, but I will never like expressly ask you to purchase anything from me. That's not why I started this channel. The reason I started this channel was to meet you guys and to be part of a community and grow and learn and hone my craft, and sort of as a documentation of like all of the ups and downs that I went throughout this journey too. So I will never go, hey, go buy my book. But I will probably say, especially if there's interest, hey, I published my book. If you're interested, there's a link below. If not, that's cool. Just that way you can have access to the information. and make a decision on your own. Anyway, moving on. Do you monetize your AuthorTube videos? Heck no. YouTube barely knows I exist. I mean, like, they know more now because of you guys over the last, like, couple of days. But, like, before that, I don't really think anybody even knew who I was. So, no, I do not monetize my videos. And I don't think I'm going to even be remotely near that level for quite some time, which is fine by me. I don't do this for money. Let's see. If you do monetize your videos, how much of your income comes from your AuthorTube channel? Nothing. I'm like in the hole, actually, money from my AuthorTube channel and my writing, because I paid out of pocket and like saved for the equipment to film and post these videos, and for editing services and stuff like that. And so, like, I'm actually, like, in the red if we're talking about, like, investment versus return on investment, which I'm fine with. I'm just passionate about it. Let's see. What is your number one complaint about AuthorTube? So before all the tea, I am going to go ahead and say my number one complaint about AuthorTube was the fact that I felt like there's so much really good content for some really small channels that don't get like enough like love and recognition. And while we do it, because I've seen people do it, I really want us to like come together as a community and be like lifting up and like promoting other channels too, especially when they have quality content. And maybe that's, you know, it's just harder for people to like come across and see them because they're smaller channels. And I'm not talking about like me, okay, specifically, and I'll do it right now, okay? Like Nicole McKeon, she's got really good videos. Catherine Francis, I think is really interesting because she's very like honest and edgy, but at the same time, like she writes in horror instead of young adult, which is a new sort of like area of content for AuthorTube, which I think is really cool. A.S. Howell does a really good job of like, she puts playlists and stuff together. So like, if you go to her channel, you'll see videos from other AuthorTubers and stuff that maybe you've never heard of before. So I love the fact that she does that. Like that's part of the thing that I was talking about, like supporting each other and like trying to share content and stuff. And Cassie Beebe, I like her content a lot. Her personality is really fun, and she's really like, in my opinion, like really genuine and honest. And I feel like I connect with her through her videos. So like right there, I gave you 4 examples of like what I wish I could see more of on AuthorTube and my number one complaint about it. So check those people out. Anyway, if you could collaborate with any other AuthorTuber, who would it be and why? So I had an answer to this in my first video, but I think since then it has changed. So collabing with Catherine Francis to make this tag was really fun, just because she was really receptive, and like we were able to sort of back and forth and come up with these questions that I feel are pretty hard hitting. And that was a really cool experience for me because it was really my first collab, like full length collab. So that was a good experience, and I would definitely collaborate with her again. If I could collaborate with anyone though, I would say somebody who, maybe Jenna Streety, or maybe, I don't know, like I feel like I kind of want to say Kristen Martin, but I don't. I don't want to say that. No. I think maybe Jenna Streety, because with a lot of the stuff that was going on, I think that we lost sight of the fact that like there were very large YouTubers like a few months ago who were kind of bringing up the same issues, just it was not in the context of some of the stuff that happened recently. And she had made a lot of really good points in her videos about it, and I felt like she was being really honest and really just genuine. She was speaking her truth. And so I think that it would be fun to collab with her. Anyway, moving on. What is your highest viewed video to date and how do you feel about it? So this answer changed too, which is why I had to refilm this video. My ARC-T and full frontal censorship video that I recently posted is my highest viewed to date. Before that, it was my AuthorTube newbie tag, which had like 100 views. And there are currently, as of this filming, 271 views on my T video. How do I feel about it? I feel that I spoke my truth. I feel that I was honest and I was genuine and upfront about things that I wasn't okay with. And I feel that my general rule of thumb is if I'm going to say something, especially in a public forum, I want to follow like 3 main tenets. Is it the truth? Yes, it was the truth as I saw it, with the information that I had, with any of the information that I could gather, and it was my truth and my opinion. So yes, it was the truth. Was it necessary? Again, in my opinion, it was necessary because I believe that to affect change, you first have to have an open and honest conversation and be open-minded to the other side. And so that was my attempt to like open a conversation. So in my view, it was necessary. Is it kind? I tried very hard to be kind. I did sort of call out like the censorship thing just because that is something I don't agree with and I don't believe in. And I did try to say a few times in that video that I was not trying to like pick on or bully anybody or be unkind. I was really talking about like the underlying issues. So I felt that I was as absolutely kind as I could be with the subject material. And so that's kind of how I feel about it. But yeah, I will not lie. I have had a couple of sleepless nights, just because I worry that, the conversation that I started is maybe starting to turn more negative than I anticipated, and that bothers me. So I feel good about the video and the fact that I was honest about my feelings and my opinions, and again, after this video, I will not be addressing any of this again. This is it. I'm going back to the regular content after this. But yeah, so I feel mixed on it. I feel mixed. Which AuthorTuber would you recommend to your viewers and why? I literally just did this a few questions ago. Nicole McKeon, Cassie Beebe, A.S. Howell, Catherine Francis. I could probably list like 80 of you guys, like honestly. So many, but I would say go to A.S. Howell's channel just because I feel like she does a really good job of highlighting smaller AuthorTubers and putting them in playlists. So I would say go there and then find small channels with good content, just because there's so many and I don't feel like I can mention all of them in this video. Take a sip of tea and then answer this last question. So this is not tea, this is coffee because I'm getting away from the tea. Do you believe that an ARC should be sold for $150? I addressed this in my other video, so I'm not going to go into it, but no, I don't. I don't agree with that. Again, it's YouTube, it's the internet. You can do whatever you want. Tenets of capitalism, tenets of freedom of speech. You can do whatever you want, however you want on this platform. I can't speak for other people. I can't change what other people do or don't do, but what I can control is myself and my small corner of the world, and I will say this right now, I will never charge for ARCs of my book. Never. I will not do that. I will stand up and say if I'm going to talk the talk, I'm going to walk the walk. I will not charge for ARCs. And that is what I'm going to say on that. Now, that is the AuthorTube Transparency Tag questions. I do want to leave on a couple of things, like a couple of bullet points that I mentioned I was going to talk about earlier before I end this video. If you only came for the tag, then you can end here and have a great day. But I do want to say I am going to encourage all of you to walk the walk as well, to do this transparency tag, because this is, my contribution. I pointed out complaints that I had, but I don't feel like you should point out a complaint if you're not going to offer a solution. And again, I can't control what other people do, but I feel like, you know, maybe spreading this message of trying to be more transparent with viewers through this tag is a way that I could help affect some positive change from all of this. Also, I will caution you guys that as we're moving forward talking about these issues, to try really hard to come from a place of constructive criticism and a place of kindness always, just because if the message gets lost because of the vehemence, then, you know, then I feel like we've just kind of spun our wheels and been really mean for kind of no purpose. And I really want to see, you know, AuthorTube grow and change. Like I really want that. I really want positivity to come from this instead of negativity. So I caution you as we go forward talking about this to try and do so with consideration to your words and to consideration of the people who are involved in the issues and all of that. But again, it's freedom of speech. You do you. Also, I want to make sure that I encourage anyone who has an opinion different than mine or different than the overwhelming similar opinions to mine. If you don't agree or you have a different opinion, I want you to know right now that I stand by what I said. I don't believe in censorship, and I believe in transparency, and I also believe that your opinion is just as, if not more so, valid, because to have a conversation, you have to have two sides. And so I really want to hear from you guys. I mean that genuinely, like not in an antagonistic way, but in a way that I hope comes off the way that it's meant, which is to have conversations about this so that we can affect positive change on this platform. And I want to encourage you that I will support you regardless of if you agree with me or not, which I think I've made pretty clear on like the Facebook group and Twitter and some comments that, you know, where people said, oh, well, you know, as somebody with this, I don't agree with this and whatever. And I've always said, that's absolutely valid. I totally agree with that. You know, any perspective to me, I'm open-minded. Any perspective that is not my perspective, I'm open and receptive to. Even if I don't agree with you for whatever reason, I'm open and receptive to it. And who knows, it may end up changing my mind on things. So like if you don't feel like you have a safe space, because there have been quite a few people who like agree with this, and I haven't seen a lot of people who disagree, I want you to know that you can talk to me, you can comment, you can PM me, you can tweet me, you can reach out to me, and I will be a safe place for that conversation if you want to have it. So I want to make sure that you know that as well. Like I really want to make sure that that is driven home, that if you don't agree with anything that I said, it is a-okay to disagree with me, and I wholeheartedly accept that and accept you and your opinion as valid and important. Also, I want to end this video now by again thanking all of you. There have been times in my life where I felt marginalized, where I felt that my opinion didn't matter, and I felt like I couldn't speak about things. And I was worried that that would happen, that I would get a lot of backlash from my last video because I was trying really hard to just speak from my heart and be honest. And you guys reinforced, with all of your love and support, you reinforced what I love about this community, which is that you rally around people and you uplift them. And that is exactly what you did for me, every single one of you. And I love you all so much for that. I was literally blown away. I was texting my husband, who was at work at the fire station, and I was like, oh my God, you have to go and see the comments on my YouTube video. You have to go and like look at my Twitter. And he was blown away too. And I was very, very personally touched. Like I said at the beginning of this video, and I want to end on that too, is just love for all of you, just all of you. Also, you guys helped me reach a goal of mine for like the entire year, which was to make 50 subscribers. So I will be doing a video giveaway just because in one day you helped me reach my yearly goal and I want to give back. And so I don't know how to do a giveaway. I just decided that was what I was going to do just now. So I'll be figuring that out and probably talking about that later, but I will do a giveaway just to help share the love that I've received. Anyway, I hope y'all have a great day. I hope this was taken the way it was intended, which is in kindness. I will no longer be talking about this topic, and I will go back to my original content, and I love you all. Bye.